up? It's your girl, LiShon the Don.
And it's me, Miss Cat, your coach, accountability partner, and teacher.
And we are here today. We've made it to another episode, and we're just going to dive right in. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about just what it feels like to have guilt when you've made it. When you have guilt, when you have a team and everybody just can't go. How do you feel about leaving the people that you know that's made you who you are, so to speak, or at least contributed to who you are, not be able to go with you, not be able to, just go to the next level with you, or I feel like they still have some stretching and some growing to do. I think these past few months have been a little bit challenging for me. It stretched me to a point to whereby I feel like my team has really, really helped me. But also I think my team has been slightly divided, so to speak. And it's just because I think we've all elevated. We've all elevated. And sometimes when you elevate in different directions, because what looks like success for me may not look like success for the next person.
That part.
But it's been challenging because sometimes when you're used to going together as one and you start branching out on your own, it's like, you feel a little bit lost. Sometimes you even feel guilt or you feel remorse.
Yeah.
Because they are a part of you. Your team is a part of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a struggle, but nonetheless, I still love my team. I care about my team and everything, but sometimes I think that people have elevated to a different direction. You know what I mean? So that's been my experience, with feeling like that. What about you, Kat?
I just think that survivor's guilt is a real thing. And I know that, like, sometimes we talk about it because for those that don't know what survivor's guilt is, it's like when something traumatic happens,
okay,
and you survive and then you feel guilty. Like, so for example, we all in a car crash, everybody die, and I'm the only one that live. Now I'm feeling guilty because it's like, why, how did I make it through this, right? So at the end of the day, I think the same thing happens in business, right? Sometimes traumatic things, and traumatic doesn't have to be in a negative way. It could be a traumatic increase in something happening. And it's like, okay, now I feel guilty because I see myself going up here and I'm taking things to the next level, but the people around me are still down here. And yeah, sometimes it do feel lonely at the top. Sometimes it do feel like, man, everybody can't go, but you still feel some type of way about it, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my opinion.
It just depends. I think it depends on what the situation is sometimes too, because like you said, elevation or something traumatic happens, it doesn't always mean that it's something bad. So I think that it's individual. It's an individual situation each time, but at the same time too, I think that growing is good for everybody. Elevating is good for everybody. But what it looks like for me may not look like that for the next person. And what it looks like for them may not look that's not what it looks like for me. You know what I mean? So, I mean, can that cause friction and tension? Yes, it can.
Yeah.
But you want to still be respectful and, at least set those boundaries so people know, hey, you're going this way, I'm going this way. But if we need to meet back in the middle at some point, it's okay. So I think that it's about respect too. Like respect plays a big part into it.
I think respect most definitely.
Yes.
But communication is key.
Yes.
And I know that sound cliche, communicate this, that, and the third. But like you said, if my success looks like this, your success looks like that, we got to be on the same page. Exactly. And if we're not on the same page, that's cool. That don't mean we have to fall out. That don't mean we have to, burn bridges or whatever the case may be. That just might be a conversation. Hey, Sean, this was cool for this stage in life, but at the end of the day, I'm at a different place.
Yeah.
And that's just a conversation that, like you said, respectfully can be had, should be had, so that way you know how to proceed and go to the next level. And I also think that every door is not meant for everybody. So what I mean by that is my door up there might be just meant for me. It might not be meant for a team or everybody that's around me. Everything ain't for everybody.
I mean, in saying that too, like I look at it like you may get a garage and then you may get a doorway. Garage is a team. Doorway is just me.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So, but it doesn't mean that you're, you think any less of them, or, you don't want to be in connection with them. It just looks different for you. And sometimes it's about an individual having an experience that leads them to want to elevate or grow, or maybe they've seen something that their team has not seen, or felt something that their team hasn't felt, and it's just time to just do shifting some gears. But if you may be the leader, you may be leading by example. So although your team members may not be moving in the direction in which you're moving in, they may come along once they see what you got going on.
But this is the thing though. You said something and I don't even think you understand what you just said. If things are progressing, you have to get ready for that progression, right? You can't go the same. Like when I go up here, I can't use the same tools, the same knowledge, the same.
No, I agree.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I have to elevate myself to be ready for that, whatever that new thing or that new elevation is going to be, right? So with that being said, I might be equipping myself. I might be doing what it's taking to, get myself
level.
ready. And the people around me, they might be comfortable where they at. They might say, hey, I'm cool with XYZ. I don't need to train, or I'm just making that up. I don't need to get this credential or whatever the case may be. But we might say, hey, to catch the $1 million train, we gonna need to do boom, boom, boom. Exactly. And they might be like, you know what? Well, Cat, that's a little, I ain't even trying to do all that. I just really want to just sit back and just chill where we are. So again, I guess to avoid, let me just say this, because, at the end of the day, I always say the same thing. We want to design this show for people that are thinking about, coming to this side of the fence. And we want to open your mind to all different perspectives and all different things that come about during this journey. So with that being said, survivor's guilt, that's something that you may feel because you might start off with a pack.
That
might not who you finish with. That part.
But it doesn't mean that it's something bad. It's not a bad thing.
Part.
To me, it shows a sign of elevation. It shows that, that I have started to grow. I have started to stretch. And it doesn't mean that, they haven't. They've just done it in their own way.
But being just completely real, sometimes they don't want to stretch.
Sometimes some people don't.
Sometimes people are comfortable where they are. And that's fine too. That doesn't mean we gotta, fall out or whatever, but it could be respectfully, hey, I'm trying to do XYZ. I have noticed that I'm ready to take things to another level. You know what I'm saying? And I see that you cool with it, and that's cool with you, but I want to do something different. And so what we just want to encourage you guys that, you might start with a pack, especially when you start new in business. You want to collaborate. We talked about collaboration, right? You might want to collaborate to get things going, to build your momentum, but you may get to a point where, collaboration over. Now I'm trying to go through the door. I'm tired of parking in the garage. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to just walk through the door. You know what I mean?
And then I think also too that, when you start with the group, when you start going off on your own, when you start just like you say, taking courses or doing whatever to better yourself, maybe you're the one to go out to get that, to bring that back to your team. So that's why you got to have that respect between each other, because once you go and get that, I'm going to be able to bring this back to you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But then you'll know whether or not that's the end of the road for you and your team, or if, y'all going to move as a unit, you're going to continue to move as a unit, because you'll see how they react to what it is
that part
that you're doing. But and again, it's not to scare anybody from making a decision on being a full-time entrepreneur or not, because these things happen. We're just giving you the facts. Like, it happens. It's going to happen, especially if you work with a team. If you work by yourself, you know, chances are slim to none. But if you work with a team, you got to know that it's going to happen. And it's all about being prepared mentally too.
That part, but not, you got to also understand, even as a solopreneur, or, you know, you might be working as on your own, you still have other people that you work with. Like, for example, you know, when I had started my tax business, you know what I'm saying? I had I opened up a brick and mortar location. That means somebody had to run my front desk. You know what I'm saying? We had agents, this, that, and the third. And what do you normally do? Especially when you're new at a new thing, you're going to hire everybody that you know. You get what I'm saying? You're going to hire your friends. You're going to hire your family, right? And at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you realize, like, dang, we really not in synergy. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to business.
But you don't know that from the start.
And you won't.
You'll never know that from the start.
You won't know that from the start, because when a vision or a dream or something comes up, everybody be gung-ho. Everybody be rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns, right? Until it's time to really put in that work. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you separate the big girls from the big boys, right? But at the end of the day, like you said, you won't know. There's no way to know.
There's no way to know.
So that's the reason why we're telling you that, hey, it's going to happen. You get what I'm saying?
Just prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself, because these are the things that happen in this journey of entrepreneurship. Because even if you don't work as a team, you're still going to work with other people around you. And there may be a point in time where you say, hey, because there's nothing constant in life but change.
Right.
There's nothing constant in work. So I might change in this way, like you said, you might change in that way. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're going to change. Something is going to change. And if you are not ready for it, then that might take you out in your business.
Exactly. I mean, and just going back to the meat of this, which is survivor's guilt, it's like you'll feel guilty when when you're going to a certain place and the people that you thought was gonna go with you aren't going. Like, you'll feel guilty. Like, that's natural. It's not anything, you know, unnatural. It's not anything bad or good. You know, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. It's not anything, you know, that I would say you can avoid. It's bound to happen.
For sure.
It's just bound to happen. And I think it's about perspective. It's about, you know, getting your mental right. And it's also just about your communication skills, because how you communicate, where you're going, and what it is that you want to do, it matters when you're talking to people that you may be at a fork in the road with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
It matters. So I think that those are some really important things to keep in mind when something of the sort comes, because it's coming.
For sure. Sure. And then also, you know, for me, I'm just like, yo, it's no need to be guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like, God put you there, or gave you the, you know, the vision or the drive or this new, you know, mind frame.
I don't want to say it is not a reason to feel guilty, but you're human too. So we're all human, so you're gonna quite naturally feel guilty. Now, how much guilt? That's something totally different, because it may look or feel different for you than it does for me. You know what I mean? Because I know for myself personally, if my team can't go, or if I'm at a fork in the road with my team, I'm going to that's gonna weigh heavy on me. It's because I just, it's a part of me, and it's not to say that I'm not a whole person without them, but it just feels different because you never imagined this, you never planned this, you can't prepare yourself for something as such. But at the same time too, I mean, I think again, you got to have your mental right.
And I guess when I was saying don't feel guilty, I mean, of course, as human emotion, but I guess when you already have it in your mind that this could happen, you know what I mean? Like, this could happen.
But see, nobody prepared
that part.
If
that
nobody
part
prepared you for it,
then of course,
you
know what I mean? But when you have the foresight to know that, okay, I'm working in a team, it's possible that at some point in life, you know what I'm saying, that we might decide to do something different. And And I also just advise, just as a coach and like the coach and mentor side of me, that maybe, quarterly, maybe the team should come together and discuss like,
see where we are.
where are we?
Yeah.
What is our business goals? You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature, and maybe that might eliminate some of that stuff too. You know what I mean?
It could.
But quite naturally though, there are certain situations where everybody can't go. Regardless of you planning, regardless of you doing, your best due diligence, not for it to happen, there may be a circumstance.
I think that's in life.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
That's just in life, period. I mean, even as a child growing up, when you get to a certain age, when you're going off to college or just leaving your mom's house or whatever the case may be, like, they can't go. It's that from that point forward, it's time for you to excel. It's time for you to go to the next level. And everybody just ain't going there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time for you to walk your own path. And not that it's a bad thing, because again, if your paths are going side by side, then you know, hey, we still good. We still seeing each other. We still talking to each other. We still working with each other and stuff like that. But it just depends on the individuals.
Yeah,
too.
That
depends
part
on the individuals.
That part, and also, sometimes when you start stuff, and this is a good thing that people need to consider as well. Sometimes when you start stuff, everybody starts stuff for different reasons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I might start because I'm trying to be famous. You might start because you're trying to get rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all might have different reasons why we start. And that will also determine how far we go. Because or
how far we go together.
That part. Because if I'm doing a business and my initial thing was just to make X amount of dollars, and now we've achieved X amount of dollars, then what? The drive is gone. The passion is gone. The thrill is gone, right? So at the end of the day, if you are going to be in a team, especially if you're new, like for those that are new in business and you're considering about putting, together a team to do something for the long haul, the first thing that you might want to suggest asking each other is like, hey, what you here for?
Yeah, like vet your team.
Yeah, like what are you here for?
Team
what
members.
What are your goals? Like, what are you trying to do? Because that could nip some of that in the bud, like early on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Before you even get started.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a very good point. And just, I think one other thing too is having yourself together, so that way you don't pick the wrong team, or you can see it coming.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like, know what it is that you're doing, what your goals are. So when when you communicating this with other people, you can have a conversation and be like, nah, that ain't it. That ain't it.
That ain't what it's gonna be.
That ain't what it's gonna be. But I think it's something that definitely can be worked through. It's just about being a survivor. Don't look at the guilt part. Just focus on the word survivor.
That
if you focus on the word survivor, then you gonna make it.
I got you.
You'll make it through.
I got you.
You'll make it through it.
And at the end of the day, just note that if there is a split in the road, with the proper planning, the good communication, it don't have to be a bridge burner. You know what I mean? Like, it don't have to be the end all be all. It could be to the point where, hey, I'm going here, but hey, sometimes I might need to, dip back or whatever. Like, can we still collaborate?
Also too, because we talked about like reaching success and then maybe dropping, and so you don't want to burn bridges that you might have to come back across.
That part.
You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Everybody can't swim. And even if you can swim, some people just cannot be replaced. You know what I'm saying? They just can't be replaced. So I just think that it's important to do it the right way. Yeah. Whatever happens, just try and do it the right way. And I think that will save your face.
For sure. Because
that'll save your face.
I'm sure that there have been times where people have egg all over their face thinking that, hey,
I ain't gonna need you no more.
I done made it to the top. Look, I'm good now. But, at the end of the day, you always just try to do everything in decency and in order. And I think that's the way to go for sure.
If you had to give somebody some real advice, just like one real takeaway, what would you say? What would you tell them? What would you tell them to best equip themselves for survivor's guilt? We've been going on and on about it, but if you just had to, you say, hey, you horn in on this one thing, what would it be?
I would just say, for me personally, sometimes it is lonely at the top, and I think that, you know, getting your mind ready for that would make it more comfortable up there. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that everybody is not every door. So if there are several doors, you know what I'm saying, to go through, not all doors are for multiple people. Some doors are just for you. And what will happen is depending on what type of door that is, people around you might start feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to walk through that door with you and they can't go. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not equipped. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe they haven't did the work, but they can't go in that door with you. It may make them feel some type of way. But at the end of the day, if you are doing what you need to do for yourself, if you are putting God first and, you know, just doing the work to get through that door, and that door is open for you, then walk through it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Confidently, boldly, and as long as you're not burning bridges on the way through that door, then you should be straight.
I think that was I mean that was good. That was a good takeaway in my opinion. It really was. That mental is so important, and I think that from there we don't have to you know keep going on and on and on about it. I think that number one would be your mental. Just have your mental right, so that way you know you just prepared for whatever, because this journey of entrepreneurship comes with a whole lot. And if you keep tuning in, we're going to give it all to you. And I'm your girl, LiShon Dunn.
And I'm Miss Cat, your coach, accountability partner, and teacher. And we're both sides of the check.